smearing blood.
Urine, pissing in the...
Now, Shanah, what you call that?
Crazy.
When you think of the severity of what happened, and you think of the fact that if 1 second would have went differently, or one person wasn't there, like our brother Eugene Goodman, that led a whole
Was
bunch
chased.
of-
He was chased.
he was
Chased,
chased
right.
by himself, and he was still pushing back. He was like, "Move back," you know, and he never took his gun.
Right.
Never took his gun out. I mean, because you only got a certain amount of rounds, and then, you know, who knows what would have happened. So he had to think quick. But you have people that are paid to protect and serve and to follow the laws under the Constitution, and you're actually creating a sub-political party of treasonous terrorists.
But I don't think they thought that they would get caught because
Oh, that's
because Trump told them to, and Cruz would be down, because obviously, just think the fact that they were sitting in the offices with their feet on the desk. The dude stole a podium and smiled for the camera.
Nice
And they
and
were
phones taking pictures
taking
of
pictures
documents.
of legal government documents.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think anything was going to them to happen to them, which is why in some way I say the word I'm crazy, because it's just like you have to have some next level thought process to think that I'm gonna go in Congress, sit at the House chick's desk
I agree
with
with
my feet up and
China.
not think anything's gonna
China.
happen.
If somebody had
Shanah.
told that same group of people that 5 years before that they was gonna do, they're like, nah, I would never do nothing.
Shana,
I would
it's
never.
Shana, it's not crazy. Don't you? And this is like I keep saying.
Well, why don't we say enraged? It was
No. Just listen. Listen. It isn't crazy, and it isn't enraged. You know what it is? They're not Black Lives Matter. So what would happen to those people that are protesting for Black Lives Matter? That wouldn't happen to us because we're not protesting the way they're protesting.
Exactly.
They were gangster.
Do you understand the thought? Do you understand the thinking?
No,
They were patriots, and they called
But
themselves
in their
patriots.
mind,
Look how they attacked
Patriots.
that cop. Look
In
how
their
they all
mind-
attacked one cop in that entranceway. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was savagery.
but again, they're not going to be viewed like the radical Black Lives Matter
Of course not.
people.
No,
Because
I totally understand that.
but this is why we can't. But this is why it's not crazy, and they're not crazy.
To me,
Because
it's a little bit
if you're groomed,
crazy.
if you're groomed from an infant that you are privileged and you are a supreme being, and whatever you do, you can shout out, you can talk back, and there's no consequences. You can do whatever you want. Affluenza, they called it.
Mm-hmm.
They call it affluenza.
The boy had affluenza.
Affluenza.
Exactly.
So that's how you were raised. Us, we're like, our mother be like, just look at us. We don't
Only
do it.
time, right? The only time the privileged people will receive harsh backlash is when you're supporting Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they were doing.
Yeah.
What do you think they would have done?
Just keep thinking about that.
But
in the psyche, we're not the white people that are supporting the Black Lives Matter. We're different from them. They're not like us.
They're the radical left.
They're the radical left.
You think
we're here as patriots. We're doing our patriotic duty to support our president because he needs our help right now because these people are trying to take our country away.
But wait, what would have happened if they got to Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi? Would those two be alive right now?
I don't even want to think that what would happen. They would have tortured them to death.
And then it would have turned into crazy.
We can't.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
I totally understand.
And watch that CNN that Sunday. So what happened on a Wednesday? CNN did a documentary that Sunday, and I sat and saw the savagery, the beast. They were like maniacs out there.
Okay, Keisha, let me ask you.
Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Keisha, can I ask you a stupid question?
Let me get a stupid question.
You said you watched the documentary Sunday, and what you saw was savagery, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell different did you see from what you've known in throughout the history of this country?
It wasn't a shock.
Nothing different.
It wasn't a shock. I wasn't shocked.
Keisha, you saw white people who believe that they're protecting their country from the others, doing what white people have always done. These are the people that have hung freaking people for goddamn how many years?
And sold off their parts to people.
Right. These are the people.
They had pictures, like it was a whole show. People got
okay. So let me.
listen to what I'm saying.
The word sick. There's a word. There's got to be another word besides what you're saying. There's got to be another word to that because I'm not going to.
Another word to what?
Oh, that's them thinking that that's their privilege.
No, I say evil. I say evil.
Okay, evil. That's the word. That's the word.
Oh my gosh! But again, Keisha.
If you go back to work, if somebody comes in your office and act a fool like that,
listen to me.
I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Oh, look at him giving out his privilege."
All right, listen to me. Okay, listen.
We're gonna be like the dude that knows his damn mind.
You might he going crazy.
Listen. Okay.
Put your ass down, Bob.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm going to ask once again. What behavior did you see on display January 6th that we have not seen?
No, I was not surprised.
It's not about being surprised. It's not about being surprised. It's about them doing what the hell they always do.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
But I could say that's the level of crazy.
If we're gonna say the word is evil, then yes, we have been saying that for how many years?
They've been evil since day one. That ain't nothing new.
This was yet another domestic terrorism on U.S. soil. Okay, now let's go because we can go through a timeline of domestic terrorism
on U.S. soil
and killed the
done by Americans.
Yes,
right here.
Yes,
in these Americas.
Yes,
Timothy McVeigh bombed a federal building. Those people who marched Capitol Hill, what the hell did they do different from Timothy McVeigh?
And I say he had a level of crazy.
So they only did what they've been doing. This is the act that we've known them to do for their country.
Keep in mind though, Trump is a specialist at saying saying keywords, like we had mentioned in the beginning. He said keywords that get you to like, oh shoot.
Right, yeah.
He stood on that podium.
It's dog whistles, but it's a bullhorn.
Yeah.
Foghorn.
And I'm telling you, you're not in your right mind when you hearing these keywords. You be like, they all look the same, all of them.
But see, the thing about it is, you have some well-to-do crazies or evils, and some because you had people get on private jets to go, and you getting on a private jet to go and run through the Capitol. If I had private jet status,
you be in San Tropez,
DC. I'm going to San Tropez. I'm gonna go to San Tropez.
Not if you feel you're gonna lose a lot of your breaks that you have that helps to keep you in that private jet. You're going to fight for your pride to
First, you're gonna go to Capitol Hill.
You're going to fight to keep you in the graces that afford you that private jet. You're gonna fight for it.
Imagine if we as Black people had that privilege.
What privilege?
To storm Capitol Hill without any resistance.
You had police officers helping others down the steps ever so gently, as if they were in a cotillion. The man was holding the lady's hand as if he was her partner at the cotillion or quinceañera.
Okay, so here's my take, and I think I know I've communicated this with each and every one of you. We all know the reason why they did not attack those people in the manner that they would have attacked. And I hate to keep using BLM, but only because BLM was so,
But they keep referencing BLM now.
Exactly. You know why? Just think about it, because the people who were out there protesting for Black Lives Matter, what they had in their knapsacks were things to protect them from the gas that
they had milk
that
and
would be
water.
Sprayed. Right. That's what they had in their knapsacks. Right. Those people that stormed Capitol Hill
has zip ties and
they had zip ties. They had guns. Yeah. They had bombs. Yeah. They were prepared for a war.
Yes.
That is the reason why they were not attacked in that manner. And we can listen to the media give us a song and a dance about it. The reason why those people were escorted as if it was a cotillion, because had that not been the case, remember, we saw people out there with their Trump flags. We saw people out there with their Confederate flags. We saw the man with the Auschwitz freaking T-shirt. We saw the people with the rifle flags. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be waving my flag with a big old rifle on it. Ain't no way I'm not gonna be waving my flag that says "Don't tread on me" if I'm not prepared to take action.
Yeah. No reason why I would have a noose. Well, I wouldn't be carrying a noose for
the news that they wanted to hang Mike Pence with. Had they attacked those people, it would have turned into a civil war on Capitol Hill. Listen, we know the media is set up to give us as much information as they think that we need to ingest, okay? But use your common sense in that situation. We know they started finding stuff, and now they want to show you all the different things that they were finding. But we knew that was the case. We knew that was the case. And that is why they did not attack those people, because it would have been bloody on Capitol Hill. So they took action the way they took action. Now, had they got onto the floor, had they not been able to move the house that was on the floor through the tunnel, and those people got in through there, it would have turned into a civil war, because at that point they had to shoot. They had to. At that point they would have
to protect them.
But because they knew that they funneled them through that tunnel by then, there was no need to attack those people. And the National Guard should have been, but we know that 45 wasn't allowing that to happen. Right. And once the National Guard got there, the National Guard wasn't there to shoot.
Right.
The National Guard was only there to scurry them out of the area.
Oh, so sweet.
So it's easy for us to get emotional and say, well, this and that, but we have to think logically. We have to think logically when it comes to this situation. It's not about our emotions. That unfortunately, it can't be all based on our emotion. We have to think. So you have to understand that, yeah, you know, we know it wasn't a surprise. We know that what we saw is the America that we know America to be.
Mm-hmm. So basically, and, you're all not ones to say it, but right. We told you so.
Right. And exactly. And now here's the funny thing is, let the infighting begin and let the infighting continue. That's not our fight.
Nope, I'm sitting back.
That is not our fight. We ain't got no monkey in that show. Yeah. Let them do what they need to do amongst one another.
Right.
As long as it don't impact our bread and butter, right. Let them carry on. Mm-hmm. Let them carry on with their savagery. Feel free. Go ahead. Because we've seen this. We know that the white people that helped slaves had a hard time. Mm-hmm. They got treated killed. They got killed the same damn way. Let's let them do what they do. you laugh, but think about it. Yeah. Let them do what they're gonna do amongst, because now they fighting with each other.
Right.
But I don't think that they really grasp that too tough. Is that you can be a Trump supporter, right? And you have all of these politicians and people in like high places with DOJ, whomever, that were riding for Trump the entire time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever he said. Yeah, it's right. He's telling the truth. Yeah, it's this and it's that, But the minute they have a come to Jesus moment, mm-hmm. and they do not side on the side of Trump, mm-hmm. not only does Trump turn on them, but everybody turns on them. Pence was licking Trump's butt crack for the entire time since he nominated him as his VP. The minute, mm-hmm. it was literally the 9th hour. Jesus had already died, and they took him off the cross, and he was the stones. He was in the. But the minute it was time to roll a stone away, and Pierce was just like, I can't do
nothing.
It was Good Friday. Look, Good Friday done came and went. It was now Easter Sunday.
Girl, they was just like, no, we gonna kill you too. You're a traitor. You're a treason.
That third day came and he arose again.
Pierce was like,
he's like, damn. I'm just trying to be me. Like, I'm in your role.
Well, Bill Barr, Chris Christie, like the list goes on. Mitch McConnell.
It's so funny though, but it's so funny because Chris Christie coming to Jesus moment happened, and I don't want to laugh. God forbid.
On a ventilator.
Was where he got COVID.
He came to Jesus on a ventilator.
His come to Jesus was on and once again, it's one of those, you have to be in that position
right,
to understand. Mm-hmm. And he became the 300 and what number are we up to? 1,000 people?
Oh, yeah.
We over 394,000.
Yeah, them is almost at 4 now.
It took him to get there, right, to understand. I was hanging around with this man who once upon a time told the world that we had a handle on COVID. And it's getting better. It's getting better.
So
and I helped prep him for a debate, and I'm just chilling in the room with this man who had to have known that members of his cabinet already tested positive. He knew. Mm-hmm. So I can't support someone who claims to be good with me, that looks me in my face and lied to me.
And lied straight up.
That was Chris Christie's coming to you. It's so sad that Chris Christie is now doing COVID commercials.
Right.
My tangle web we weave. Sorry.
I'm just waiting.
The people.
I'm waiting to see what Rudy's gonna do now, because Rudy still supported him after COVID.
Yeah, but he ain't getting his
But now he's not going to pay you.
Pay his legal fees, you know.
So,
he paid his legal fees now.
4 seasons, you know.
I stood in front of the 4 seasons for you.
And had a press conference at a freaking car maintenance auto mechanics
next to the strip club.
With a pedophile and like what? All of the people that was solid and they rode for him. The minute they said, "No, dog, I can't co-sign this. It's actually real." Actually, when you come to reality and you try to live back in the real world, he fires you. He turns everybody.
Look, he's mad at Mitch. He's mad at Mitch.
And you know Mitch was his bitch.
Oh, yeah.
His whole time.
He was his whore.
His whole time.
His whore the whole time. And ain't nobody say, you know he gonna turn on you. They didn't think they was, I don't know, like freaking
Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump has already shown you how he treats his relationships. He's already shown the world, how he treats his relationships, how sacred they are to him. Why would you think that you should be so loyal to someone like him?
And they are, I mean, it's to a default.
Because it's not even loyalty to the party. It's not loyalty
to
the party.
It's not.
Let's Georgians, the Pennsylvanians.
We have the Republican Party, and then we have the Trump supporters Republican Party.
Right.
They are not one and the same.
Right.
However,
sometimes it
that so many Republicans would not speak out in public against Trump causes an issue. But the funny is when you have the likes of Marco Rubio's and Lindsey Graham's, and I feel like I constantly say this, but in 2016, they said that he was going to destroy the Republican Party. And he did.
I was going to say, it came to pass.
They knew what he was going to do. And he did exactly what they said. And let's be honest, we know that they're not the only ones who felt that way.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But it's more so because Trump did run on the Republican ticket and he's a Republican. They have to
now.
So
have to go with
what they feel they're doing is supporting their party, but it's not supporting the party.
It's Trump.
So yeah, it's not supporting the party at all.
Well, the thing about it is, when it comes to what happened at the Capitol, you had the entire Pence had his family. That's number one, and you had the senators and the House all in one place to certify an election of Joseph R. Biden and Kamala Harris. However, that got halted because of a whole bunch of people trying to ransack the Capitol. But when you think about it, that day you had Pastor Warnock and Brother Ossoff,
John Ossoff,
that won in Georgia, and we are now in control of
the House.
Yeah, the House, the Senate,
and the Senate.
Like we can get some laws passed now. However, I'm hoping that they change the whole filibuster thing. I hope when they go in, they got to move strategically now, because you don't know what's going to happen in 2020.
But remember, the filibuster does need to go away. However, we know that the Republicans don't want to go do away with the filibuster, and the Democrats has used the filibuster to their advantage
too.
Honestly,
but see, that's what it's too much partisan politics right now. Nothing is really getting done because you got this. I've never seen such a.
You know, one of the biggest problems is we're following constitutions and amendments that were written for a time that doesn't exist
at all. It's like the time has changed 360.
That's why this needs to be revamped, because you have a whole internet that is now involved.
Yep.
You have a whole
and some of the wording in the Constitution, it isn't applicable to the times that we live in
at all.
It isn't. It's not applicable at all. And you know, we would like to think
they'll change the history, and a lot of people don't want to let go of the history, including Democrats. They don't want to change our history.
See, that's why we got all of that Democrat, Republican, and like, are you doing your job? If you're not doing your job, you got to go.
You got to go.
Number one. But they had the Senate and they had the House in one place. They had Mike Pence, who was the president of Congress, there. And then you had these people come in and say, no, we're going to stop the steal. You're going to change the vote, or we're going to hang you. Now, this all started around 1 p.m. Give us a few hours, a few minutes, excuse me. And there were probably 3 Capitol Police through the whole Capitol grounds. Like, they said that a lot of Capitol Police were dispersed because there were bombs that were placed at the DNC and the RNC. And that's where this underlying investigatory Inspector Clouseau is coming in, because a lot of the Capitol Police went to the RNC and the DNC to diffuse whatever was going on there, which left the Capitol unmanned. Mm-hmm. Now, Muriel Bowser, the DC mayor, had sent in Metropolitan PD, which they came in. However, it wasn't enough. The Congress was actually called, allegedly, if you ask the head of the Capitol Police that had to step down, they was like, you got to go. But they called, DOD called to find out if they needed any assistance, because they had some credible threats, and it was said that Congress was like, nah, we good. So somebody said no to the help. So then when the sergeant at arms or whomever said, yo, code 10.
Right.
Code 10. The enemy is here. The enemy is here. Take the chains off.
Chains off the door.
The enemy was there, but no real reinforcements came till hours later, because Trump didn't want to authorize it, because I found out from Muriel Bowser that the National Guard, DC doesn't have its own National Guard.
DC doesn't have it. No, DC does not. They have
National
to
Guard for DC is regulated. Their boss is the president.
Right.
They have to,
It's not the cities.
Right.
So she said she was going to ask Congress, or she was going to try to lobby Congress to have that transferred from the president to her, because she could have, black woman, period. You give us what? Somebody's a what? Because when it's a threat to that area, because that's supposed to be the most secure area in the nation,
right?
And New York said, we told them, we had credible news that something was going to go down. We told them.
The governor of Maryland was ready to send a National Guard over.
And had to wait. A Republican governor had to wait. So there were so many people in place that were just like, because when something happens and they think a threat is coming, if it's somebody that looks like us and a threat is coming, they can disperse people in 2.4 seconds. F-16s is coming.
They disperse people for this man to stand in front of a church holding the Bible upside down.
And that happened, that happened in because he last minute Larry. So that was just like, okay, I want to go and I want to do a photo op. Prepare thee way.
And look what was done.
Yeah. But now you got niggas in the Capitol.
But
they were taking shits and wiping it on the walls.
Smearing blood.
Urine, pissing in the...
Now, Shanah, what you call that?
Crazy.
We can use batshit crazy.
Okay, yeah. I could say batshit crazy.
You get what I'm saying? You can say batshit crazy.
Okay, I'll say
they were smearing batshit on the walls. They smeared it all over the walls. They were actually very, very, some of them were very coordinated. A lot of people in there, they had tactical gear. They had, listen, they got...
They were saying where they were going.
Yeah. And some of the Congress said that some stuff was a little fishy. Some things in their office was weird. Like their panic buttons was ripped out and stuff.
It's going to be funny. They're going to make a movie out of that one day.
Oh, yeah.
You know it. Of course.
I think I'm going to audition for the part.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me play Maxine Waters. Let me play Maxine.
Can I be Nancy Pelosi?
Let me tell you something.
That's right.
Nancy said, listen, we filing these articles of impeachment right now. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what time it is. And I'm going to wear the same suit I wore for the first impeachment.
Including the chain.
Including.
She had on the same necklace.
The only thing was missing is the bracelet that she wore for the last impeachment.
And she didn't have a mask on for the first one.
And she didn't have a mask on. No, but Nancy Pelosi said something that was very telling, and it actually just it made me think of another reason why the Constitution needs to be revamped. Because Nancy Pelosi was shocked to see that many of her workers knew what to do with this situation. They knew where to duck. They knew how to hide. They knew the things to do. And it's because they've been trained in school, the drills in school, how to handle mass shooting. If that isn't a good example as to why we need so many things to be changed, because children are taught how to prepare themselves for
things like this,
acts of terrorism.
Right.
Back in our days, it was just fire drills. We didn't know nothing about that. Now it's just like we got to do a shelter in place because of whatever threat is there. But you had a lot of them that it seemed like they were affected by it, and they were. But a lot of the people in Congress did not vote, in the House did not vote to impeach because they feared for their own lives and the lives of their family members.
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of country are we leaving to our kids? I don't like what you doing in the Capitol, so I'm gonna kill you. Family?
It's funny because we grew up in a time where everyone wasn't a winner.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Then our children grew up to be taught that everyone is a winner.
Oh yeah.
And now we're teaching kids that no, everyone isn't a winner. When you're not a winner, you can do whatever the hell you want to do to make people do what you want them to do because you are a sore loser.
And what does it teach the generation that is still looking for who they are? What is this teaching the 20-somethings or the 18-year-olds, the ones that are just getting the chance to vote? What is it teaching them?
It sends a bad message. It sends a message that your vote really doesn't matter. There is no reason for you to vote. And we've been hearing so many of them saying it. And, when you see things like this happen, it only reinforces the belief that they have that what the hell am I voting for? It doesn't matter. Politicians don't do anything for us anyway. Nothing's gonna change. Everything's gonna be the same. So it only reinforces that, which it actually works in some people's favor.
True.
Because if you have a generation that refuses to vote, the generation that still believes in voting will continue to give their votes where they need to.
Right.
It's extremely sad that we're in this time that Ossoff and Warnock couldn't celebrate their win. We should be talking about, oh, I wonder what Jill's going to wear to the inauguration ball.
Right.
I wonder.
Oh, I'm still right that this is something that we're worried about. What the hell is going to happen? The fact that we have more troops in DC
than overseas.
Exactly.
We have more troops right here. America has portrayed themselves to be the leaders of the free world, and these things don't happen here. And well, we know that's always been BS because these things do happen here, and they've been happening here. But look, just look.
We're about to have our first Black vice president. And all of this is getting overshadowed. All of the good wins. We had some great wins. Warnock was the first Black senator. That was huge. It's the first.
In the state of Georgia.
In the state of Georgia.
Yeah, in the state of Georgia.
And John Ossoff is the first Jewish.
Right.
And the youngest.
Right. We can't even celebrate that fact that we have a Black man and a Jewish man. Now just think of how Blacks and Jews have been viewed by many.
Yeah.
Especially in a state like Georgia.
Yeah. Exactly. And Georgia is what brought it home.
And Georgia is what brought it home.
And the fact that one was the pastor.
One was the intern and
of John Lewis, and the other was the intern. So it just goes to, show that
Warnock is that Ebenezer.
Ebenezer, right.
We can't forget that fact.
Right.
There is another beauty. The second beauty is we do have an Asian, because she is part Asian, part Black. Female.
Right.
VP
the first.
That will be sworn in
by
Sotomayor.
Yes.
And whose Bible would she be using?
Whose?
Thurgood Marshall's.
It's such a huge moment. It's such a huge moment.
It's an intimate moment.
That is so big. So big.
That we'll have two women, whenever they have any Senate hearings,
right.
and during the State of the Union, you're gonna have Kamala,
women.
And then you're gonna have
Nancy.
And, it's gonna be like, what you doing? I don't know. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? What up, girl? High five.
With their cute little suits on.
With their cute suits. We didn't have a chance to celebrate that because of these fools. But see, Kellyanne Conway was on, my boy.
Bill Maher.
Yeah. One thing she said, she was just like, we don't, I totally oppose what happened on the 6th. I detested it. It was grotesque. It was disgusting. But she said, let's celebrate the wins that we had. She was just like, Trump was the only president within modern history that hasn't gone into war. And I'm just like, that's not true.
I was just like,
the war going on right now in the country because of him.
Yeah.
Instigated by him. Like, shut up, Kelly. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it. I was just like, no war. Yeah, he didn't go to war. Bill was like, well, Jimmy Carter. He's alive. He's in modern history. He's still alive. But Trump created his own war, his own made-up war. He wagged the dog.
He sure did.
He said there was weapons of mass destruction at the Capitol.
At Capitol Hill.
Capitol Hill. He said that there was weapons of mass destruction.
People went right over there.
Oh, he started the war in his own country. How about that?
For his own gain.
Which is why all of his privileges need to be taken away from him. He shouldn't have access, and he shouldn't have the courtesies that's allotted to a former president. He doesn't need to have access to any information because he's already proven to us that he doesn't love this country.
Could you imagine if he still gets intel?
You know, we're talking about
taxpayer dollars paying for his Secret Service, because you know how they have Secret Service for the rest of their life.
Right.
Him and his children should not have any benefits of the office because they are so beneath the office.
But do we think that they will vote in the Senate to convict?
I think you know, Donald might.
This is the main concern, and it's more so we just need him to no longer be eligible to ever run
again.
Ever
no more.
We will this happen? I'm not 100% confident.
Sold. I know. I'm not either.
I don't think it will happen. But I could be surprised. Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell surprised me recently, and I don't think they could have ever done that. So
I was like, okay.
But so I don't have too much faith that Senate will do the right. Because when it comes to doing the right thing, that would be the right thing to do.
Right.
We don't need.
Stay tuned for scenes from part 3 of Between Sisters. We told you so.
You got people trying.
That wasn't live.
You got people trying to hang your man.
Yeah, and you tell you
your
love
vice president.
We love you.
Whose wife and daughter was also on the hill that day.
In the premises. On the premises.